I really wish that we had like that. What's that? Astronaut in an ocean or something like that. Like theme song bringing us in. Doom, doom, doom.
There you go. There you go. We need the little clip, the countdown.
Yeah. If we played those few bars, everyone think this would just be like a TikTok video or something, right?
Exactly.
We're back. It's the summer hotness.
We're still here.
Oh yeah, we never left. You left us. Why?
Yeah. No, don't worry, everyone. We didn't fade into obscurity or anything like that. We're still here. We just waited on some content to come out to give us some stuff to get excited about and to chat with you on.
Yeah, and if you didn't see, we dropped the Venom spoiler before this one here with an amazing YouTube short. Give that some likes. Get it trending. Shorts. It's a thing.
Yeah.
The kids loved it.
No, yeah, that's right. It's all for the kids. It's for the kids.
Yeah.
It's for the children.
All right, Corey. Today, though, we are locked and loaded, announcing the War Machine Hero Pack.
That's right.
Is coming
soon.
I'm gonna say it's gonna come sooner than soon.
I mean, that's true.
That's my prediction right there. So mark that on your calendar.
Yeah, I think FFG is probably being a little smart and they stopped giving like your quarter predictions at the end because shipping's a little crazy right now. Yeah. It's been crazy for a while, nothing new. So it's probably a little hard to kind of give like, they're not even really giving quarters anymore. They're just like, you know what? It'll be out eventually.
Nope. 50 cent pieces, no quarters, man.
Yeah.
And they not even giving nickelbacks.
No.
There's your Canadian content.
All right. Yeah. Oh boy. Let's keep it moving.
Okay. Venom dropped though. That's pretty exciting. That's good.
That's right.
That's good.
So at least for those in the States, and I'm assuming Canada also had it release over the weekend. So that's good. So like some things, it's coming. Stuff is coming out. So don't worry, it's getting there. But I mean, if you've not paid attention to like any like board game related news going on, like shipping costs have just been skyrocketing. So try to be a little understanding. There's lots of things going on in the world right now that's causing that.
There is. Do tell.
Yeah, yeah. It's a totally different cast. Okay. But yeah, so just have a little patience. A lot of stuff. It's cool. It's good to get excited about it. Be pumped about like these new like characters and like the new big box that got announced, which we will be doing a video on eventually.
Yeah, we'll get there. But I was this close to doing the little GNR whistle when you said just have a little patience there. I know. I held it back.
Thank you. We're trying to bring viewers back.
Not chasing away.
Not chasing away. We're trying to let them know that we're still here. We want to do some fun content for them. But yeah.
Hey, thank you for joining us. We're going to talk about War Machine because that's pretty exciting. I'm pretty excited about War Machine.
Me too.
He's going to be packaged as a leadership build. Interesting. Didn't see that coming. Did you?
Would not have been my first guess if I was going to guess what he was going to be packaged as.
No.
Leadership would not have been. Probably would have been my fourth pick out of the four aspect. So,
might as well just say what's number one.
I mean, I would think of him being an aggression.
There you go. Just check that out because I thought that too. Just all out cannons, right? Like,
yeah, I could also see justice.
Oh,
maybe.
really? Because I would have said aggression and then protection.
Protection, I could see because he's he's in War Machine suit, and so that stuff makes sense.
Yeah, and uphold it and stuff like that. Yeah. He's there. Not leadership though, but.
Hey, that's what we got. It's cool though.
We don't make those choices. We just give the feedbacks.
Yeah. Fill out our surveys.
All right. So,
So if those who might be new, hey, welcome. Thanks for stumbling upon this video.
Yeah. Well,
usually what we do when we
if you are new, let's take a moment. We'll give you 3 seconds to subscribe and like this.
Thank you. please do.
There we go.
It means a lot.
That was enough time.
Yeah. But usually our process on these kind of like previews is we will typically go over the cards in the hero's kit that gets chatted about in the article. So we're going to talk about pretty much just the War Machine cards and kind of his 15 and the hero that was in the article. We won't really dabble into the other cards that were previewed. There were some really cool leadership cards, which if you are a big leadership player, you should get hyped by a lot of these, because from what I read, looked over, there were some pretty awesome and really fun cards that give some cool like spins to the aspect. But we're just going to talk about the War Machine only cards today.
Yeah. All right. So we all know who War Machine is. It's buddy with Tony Stark. This is James Rhodes. Pretty cool. He's a shield soldier. Cool. 3 recovery on the alter ego side. Action: choose a War Machine card in your discard pile and shuffle it into your deck. Forced response: after you change to this form, discard each ammo counter from your identity.
And he's 10 hit points, hand size 6.
Yes.
Oh, it's always important.
But let's talk about them together. So we'll flip up the hero side here of War Machine, where you will find 1 thwart, 2 attack, 2 defend. He's an Avenger now when he's suited up. He's not part of S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore. He's an Avenger, and he's still a soldier. Locked and loaded response: after you change to this form, place 5 ammo counters on War Machine.
And the only change other than that is this hand size drops from 6 to 5. Which is honestly pretty standard.
Pretty standard. But I would have liked to see it go the other way this time. Like, when he's all kitted up with everything packed in, you'd think that, he could carry more. So thematically, I'm like, I would have loved to see War Machine have his hand size,
That is funny, because that does kind of make sense, because it does feel like he's got like everything in the kitchen sink like strapped onto his armor, so it'd be like he would get more options when he's in it as opposed. But it's normally been like, since the core set usually, unless I think you're Iron Man like fully kitted, you usually will drop down. There's a few heroes that are the exception that have like abilities that will draw them more cards and stuff like that, but that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah. I would have liked to have seen that. That would have been I think a cool thematic tie-in. But
yeah, a good shout out on the shield on the alter ego, but he flips to Avengers when he goes to the hero. We haven't seen a whole lot. Like Avengers, we have a lot of things to trigger off the keyword. We haven't seen a bunch of stuff that really triggers off shield yet. But it'll be neat. I mean, those of us who've listened to Bad Pub for a long time know we're huge fans of keywords. So we love to see keywords get utilized, and cards and stuff built around them, and cool themes and stuff. So it's always neat to see those pop up and see like what down the road may be able to trigger or utilize those.
Yeah. So some other kind of cool standout things that I'm seeing here. I like the fact that in alter ego mode, it kind of refreshes you out. So if you're gonna really have to think twice if you've built up some ammo counters past your normal 5 before you're making this change here to be refreshed. I think that's kind of cool. As we'll get into it, I really like this mechanic. I really like this setup mechanic, and that these ammo counters are kind of another kind of currency that you have to play with inside of this deck. I think that's going to be and make for a very interesting build and a very interesting playstyle for War Machine here. And he's very highly anticipated for me for that. Yeah. Not for the character himself, but for this mechanic. I'm really, really loving it. What they're teasing out here.
Yeah, that's as we talk about more cards to see how these ammo counters like play and interact with his cards that we've seen so far. But another thing that I'm a big fan of is actually his alter ego ability of taking a card from his discard pile and shuffling it back into your deck. That actually is, incredibly useful because usually a hero kit, right, will have like one or two like really powerful like haymaker type cards, and then know that you can, when you flip over to kind of reload, recover, you can put that back in the deck to know that it's in there somewhere, especially when your deck gets low and you almost can know like I'm putting this back and I'm about to draw into it. So you can kind of get like an extra use of those like really powerful cards, or even the card that you need that's really important at that moment. So that's really cool. And also just being able to extend how long your deck goes also buys you time and keeps you from getting those treachery cards. Because sometimes if like everyone's kind of running at the same speed in a sense, you could run in where like it's like one after another. It's like extra treachery, or sometimes like two people's decks run out, extra treachery cards. So to be able to kind of slow yourself down so you're not all hitting the reshuffle at the same time is a really cool ability to have.
Yeah, but you know what though is early when we've seen this, I've been hyped for stuff like that, but not so much anymore because I find like I don't know if it's my play style or whatnot, but I just feel like that one card on the alter ego side, it really is hard to make it a bigger impact other than getting that card back, right? It's really good. But all good points, man. All good points. All right. Anything else that stands out here? Because to me, we've got a pretty half decent stat line of a thwart, 2 attack and a defense. I think that both the attack and defense are good. Again, from a thematic wise, you know, War Machine, he probably would have been overpowered if any of those were like sitting at 3s.
Yeah.
Where I would have thought from a thematic purpose, you know, your attack and your defense in War Machine would have been a little bit higher on something there, but you know, the rest of his kit is very explosive, so probably done more on purpose and probably done by smarter people in game design other than me.
Yeah, you don't want him to play like exactly like Iron Man, right? Because Iron Man's whole thing is like building and grabbing his kit, and like his stat line gets buffed, improved, and tweaked out as you get the pieces of his armor. So they came up with this really cool like ammo mechanic that we're going to dive into in the next few cards that gives him kind of his own little like niche. Like his stat line is pretty similar, especially with the 10 hit points, which is something that like, you know, like Tony Stark got some cards that buffed his HP and stuff, made him a lot more survivable. So I'm intrigued to see if we'll see something for that for War Machine down the road. But yeah, so for him, it seems like you're kind of getting attachments to his armor to give him new functionality and abilities and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's cool. And then 3 recover is pretty standard.
Yeah, pretty standard. Yeah. All right. So what's up next?
Yeah, you tell me, buddy, here.
All right, sweet. Well, we've got his support. Every hero's got these really cool like support cards, kind of like locations, and he gets the munitions bunker. It's a 2-cost support. This location and its shield. Alter ego action, exhaust munitions bunker, place 2 ammo counters here. And then as a hero action, exhaust munitions bunker, move each ammo counter here to War Machine. So this is pretty cool because it gives you a way to kind of another card that can store ammo counters to be able to utilize. Even while you're like recovering and resting up in hero mode, you're kind of preparing so that when you flip over, you can just have, you know, you can have your 5 on War Machine, 2 already hosted in munitions bunker. You blow through your 5, you got 2 more. You can kind of move in and get some extra, you know, tokens and stuff to trigger off abilities where you have to go back and reload. So really thematic with it being a munitions bunker, and like he goes in as a shield agent because he is not shield when he's War Machine. So he like waltzes in as a shield agent. Good day, sir. Mind if I take some crates of ammunition? And he rolls it out, and then like later when he's War Machine, he loads it in a suit and does this thing as an Avenger. Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So that's munitions bunker. I don't know if there's really much more to add on that.
Yeah, you know, so when I saw this card, I was pretty pleased with the way that they tied in the alter ego and hero action. At first, you know, you look at these support locations, and what I liked about this too is that other heroes really want to get their support location out as soon as possible. But you know, this one here, because it's working on the flips, you're not going to, you know, spend time to to search for this card, or I mean, if it's in your open hand, awesome. But you know, you're not gonna be in, you know, do what you have to do in your alter ego where you start. You're gonna flip to hero and then flip back. You know, it's gonna take a bit, but you're not probably, with the amount of cards that you're getting out in those first few turns, you're gonna more concentrate on your other weapons and your suit setups. Rather than try and need those 2 extra ammo. So this kind of card, I feel like it's going to just be that natural mid-game progression when you're ramping up. So you can kind of really let the card come to you and then put it down when you get it, rather than you're like, where is my munitions bunker?
Right. Yeah, I agree. It seems like something that like you don't necessarily need to like fish for in your opening hand or super early. You can kind of get into the game, and then when you get it out, you flip back to alter ego, get ready to have bigger turns to carry you through the rest of the game.
Right, but it's another tie-in to what I like about the war machine mechanic and the throwback to Iron Man itself. It's this tableau build, right? Like it's like you're building yourself stronger and stronger. You're I don't know, without seeing the rest of it, if it's going to be that slow turn like Iron Man was, where it's like now we're at 11, you know, like,
right.
and you're overpowered, wiping everybody out, or if it's going to be just that gradual, like, okay, I see how things are going. Here's my system, you know, building it up, and then you get this, you know, this whole little factory of, you know, build counters and, you know, use the counters, build counters, use my powerful weapons, you know. So I think it's going to be cool. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, so we move on.
Yeah.
So we look at one of these pieces he can add.
This is a shoulder cannon, man. This is a 2-cost upgrade. It's a tech and it's a weapon. We've seen tech play and weapon play into parts before. This is a hero action attack. Exhaust the shoulder cannon. Deal 1 damage to an enemy. You may remove 1 ammo counter from War Machine to ready shoulder cannon. You may remove. It's not too bad.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. So I guess like the easiest example is if you immediately flip to Iron Man, you have your 5 ammo counters, you could spend your whole turn and rat-tat-tat-tat-tat that shoulder cannon 6 times, right?
Yeah.
So you fire, so you can effectively get like 6 damage you could spread across. And you can spread it out. So that's the cool thing about it, is the versatility of you being able to sit there. Like, how many times have we come into games, right, where there's like a number of guys who's on like 1 wound, or someone who like you can almost kill. Having something that you can kind of repeatedly use to keep pinging like 1 damage through stuff to trigger and pick off like minions and stuff is really neat. So it's a cool card.
Yeah, I can only see there being one of these.
Yeah, most likely, because of just how, because I feel like it's strong. Also, like, it doesn't do you any good to have 2 out.
No, it's not. It would be. It may. Yeah, it wouldn't do any good to have 2 out. I think it would be stupid. It's not unique, right? But thematically, he's only got the 1, right? So come on.
Right. So it's just, it gives you like a strong thing to dump. But the problem is like, of course, you can just burn up all your ammo counters right when you flip the hero, and then you're spending your next turn going back, reloading, and getting ready. Yeah. So while it does have some really cool versatility and is really strong, it is going to do like that 1 turn on, 1 turn off, 1 turn on, depending on, unless there's other things that's going to give you ammo counters.
Yeah, and what I like about this one here is the actual cost of the ammo, or the ability is it being a 1 cost, because it's not like, if it's not like it's an even number or a multiple number where maybe some of these other cards cost larger lump sums of ammo, but if you have 1 or 2 or whatever left and you don't have the other cards in play and you just have this and say something that costs more, you can just kind of burn these up before you have to flip, right? So it's kind of a nice way just to empty your clip. Thematically
speaking. That's true, because you're going to lose all of them whenever you go back. So yeah, absolutely, it's a good way to kind of dump them all out.
Yeah. What do you got for the next one, man?
So next up, we have an event, 1-cost event called Targeted Strike. This is a thwart action, hero action. Remove 1 ammo counter from War Machine. Remove 3 threat from the scheme. So, I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, a 1-cost. It's a 1 cost and 1 ammo counter to pull off 3 threat. Usually like a 1 for 3 is like really strong, but you do have to factor in you also need the ammo counter. And so it does feel like really cool just to be able to pull 3 threat off, but that also in a way kind of sounds expensive because you are paying 1 resource, so you're pitching a card and you're burning an ammo counter, which as you see more and more things you can use ammo counters for. So I mean, it's cool because we know that he has a way to interact with schemes, and which is always good to know that's in your main kit, and to have a way to just pull 3 off is a solid number. So it's a good card.
I feel like this is in there to balance out some of our solo play friends.
Absolutely.
Give them a little bit of a leg up just in case some of that.
You built that aggression war machine?
Yeah. All right. Well, just in case that threat condition is looming, and then it gives you a way to kind of cut it down for a bit, right, at the cost of, like you said, the ammo. But I feel like in group play, if you're reaching for this card, you're probably in a bad situation if War Machine is your threat removal.
Yeah, I mean, unless you've like built your deck, it does mean, because like one of the cool things about having cards like this in your 15 is it does opens up all the aspects, right? So you can go like heavy, like, hey, I've got a threat removal in my kit. I can lean into justice. We can do some really cool like threat removal justice builds with War Machine. It's always good to have these. Yeah. You don't want the hero to be like too one-dimensional as far as it's like base 15, because it feels like it just tells you what aspects you have to play.
Yeah.
But it's cool. But the neat thing, I mean, even though I wouldn't say I complained, but I did mention they did eat up an ammo counter. But the good thing is it means we've seen other things ammo counters can do. It's not just damage to enemies.
Yep, man. Targeted strike, it can do. Cool.
What do we got coming up next?
Coming up next is a 3-cost Black Ops Operation. Play only if you are tagged and do 4 meat damage. 4 meat damage. That's value, right?
That's really good. I mean, if you flatline, you can just take the runner out and you immediately win the. Okay, guys. I'm sorry. If you didn't get this at all, this is a card called Scorched Earth. Feels like a throwback to a card that a runner have been killed by in the game of Netrunner.
Yeah, that's our roots right there.
There you go.
Scorched Earth is still a 3-cost event. Strangely enough.
Yeah.
How many times can we go to the Netrunner well? This is a tactic. It's a hero action that removes 3 ammo counters from War Machine. Deal 3 damage to each enemy in play. So first off, this is what we were talking about before, where you're sitting with an odd number of ammo counters, right? So if you have those 2 counters, you can go back and use the thwart. You can use the shoulder cannon before you have to go and refresh and then flip to get it, right? So burning up those low level leftover counters. But this is great. It's going to remain to be seen the costs that you're paying for this. And I think it's going to take me that moment to see the rest of the kit and to see what it is to actually put a value on what an ammo counter is worth in the play state, right? I don't know if this sounds expensive because you're paying 3 resources to play the card, and then you're paying 3 of a different kind of in-game resource, which is these ammo counters, to then trigger the card. So you're paying with 2 currencies here, right? It's like Canadian American dollars. Are they equal? Are they equal in value? Is it 1-to-1? Some days.
That's just true. It's true. So like first you look at this card ability. 3 damage to each enemy in play is incredibly strong ability. Like especially in certain scenarios, like Mutagen Green Goblin, you just wipe the board, right? You clear through a bunch of stuff, plus you ping the enemy. But you are correct, and like my same kind of concern with this card is, how expensive is it? How many times in the game are you going to draw this sitting on 2 or fewer ammo counters on War Machine? And then you're like, so do I hold this? Because now I've got to flip back, reload, turn passes, and then it comes back, and then I flip back, and now I'm eligible to use Scorched Earth. What's the game state going to be like at that point?
Yeah.
And, so it does seem like initially looking at like a power cards like this, it takes a lot of ammo and a lot of resources out of your hand. Kind of resource management seems like it's going to be really important for War Machine. And it also could be almost the psychological, like you can get tricked by like getting this early, and then you spend so much time trying to set this up that by the time you get it lined up, you're like, well, this isn't even really a good game state to spend all my ammo and my resources to do this in. So it feels like it's going to teach you some really good like juggling and balancing of your resources and analyzing like what's good to hold on to try to find out the best cards to play when.
Yeah, and that's why I think he's going to be such an interesting mechanic to play with, because of, like we were talking about, this other currency that's in the game, where these ammo counters and the fluctuation that is going up and down and balancing it all out. Because if you're playing with a group of people, the board state is going to be changing, right? Like how many times, or you don't know what's going to come up, right? Like if you and me are in a game and I'm like, okay, don't worry about those 2 minions on you, I'll get them next time. I've got something that I'm going to lay this, I'm going to bring the firepower, and then something else happens and it's forcing me not to play it. Now you're taking those minion damages again, right? Or if you're like, no, I can't take another damage, I can't force myself to wait another turn, and you have to do it, and then your math, so to speak, is going to be off, because now you're paying your 6 currency in total to a lesser pool. So I don't know when you're going to pull this out and what the value is and how many is a good clear ratio for this, but the 3 damage to everything is nuts, right? Yeah. And again, like we said off the back, right? Like the Rhodes ability to bring a War Machine card back, not just a specific type of card, anything in his 15 card kit here, is pretty cool.
Yeah, because it also means you could safely spin these.
Yeah.
So you don't feel like you have to hold it because you won't see it until your deck empties. You can safely spin these cards to play other stuff and just keep refilling them back up whenever you go back to Rhodes to reload and everything.
Right, because that's just a alter ego action, right? So, yeah. I mean, you could literally on that turn call Scorched Earth back, right, while you're in it. Flip into War Machine and then use it, right? So,
if you draw it, because you just put it back in your deck.
Yeah, that's true. True, right? So,
but if you say flip to Rhodes at the end of your turn, load it, shuffle it back in, you do have the chance at the end of your drop, you draw up. You can then load another card back with Rhodes, and then flip to War Machine. So there's some cool like timing things to play around with.
Because there's no limit. There's no limit on that. So
right, it does feel really thematic in the sense of like, I mean, War Machine is a suit with all these guns. You've got to monitor all your ammo levels and everything. You've got to know when you're going to be like down to like replenish. So you've got to get that kind of like juggling act of like being able to time when you're ready to go for like your most impactful turns to when you're going to have effectively like a downturn where you're like, hey, I'm going to do a couple little small things, but then I've got to go, flip back, load some cards up, load up my ammo counters, and then get ready to come back and then start having better turns.
Now it is interesting when Tony Stark built this suit that he did it all with all of these guns use the same ammo, but oh well.
Yeah. he's a genius, right?
Yeah. I wonder how overpowered maybe War Machine is. Like I'm really sticking through that Rhodes ability to choose a War Machine card in your discard pile and shuffle it into your deck, and as just an action. Like, do you think they're gonna have to like errata that like once per turn or something like that? Or
well, I mean, you can only do those once per turn because you can only do like each action stuff once, but it's cool. it's cool that it's there because it's like reloading everywhere, right? Reloading the counters, reloading your deck. It's like everything's reloading.
Yeah, that's got me thinking.
Yeah. So next up, as we keep moving, where you're deep in thought over here, is one of my votes for the silliest / coolest / most insane artwork on a Marvel Champions card, and it is
this card here. If Marvel Champions was a competitive game, Corey would have a playmat with this art this card on it.
Yeah, it's so silly, but I love it. Full auto is a 2-cost event that's an attack. Hero action, remove 4 ammo counters from War Machine and choose an enemy. Deal 8 damage to the enemy. This attack gains overkill. And as the artwork shows, it's just like every gun, rocket, all these random things. It's like Swiss Army knife out of his suit or whatever, and he just lays down the firepower into a target, kills through them into something else. It's wild. It's silly. It's almost all your ammo counters, which
is surprising that it's not.
Yeah, it's true that it leaves one. Like, why is it not?
Like full like it shows him going all out there. I'm like, so like
right.
Go all out. I wonder, it'd be interesting to see the testing in this. What
why it decided to have you where you could have like 1 ammo counter left, or why it only costs 4 instead of 5.
Yeah.
Maybe because maybe it could have been that if you used 1, I don't know, because it seems like you would want to know this is coming up to be prepared for it. But who knows? We'll see when we actually get hands on, right?
Right. So that, and it leads me to wonder, right? Because just off the top, Corey, in the in the pre-roll, you noticed something interesting about this article, right? Do you want to mention that now? And I'll say my tie-in.
We've got one more card in the kit. Let's knock that card out, and then I'll add it at the end.
Okay.
Because normally we would go about it after the card.
Okay. Well, I had something to tie into it, but I don't know.
Hold. One more card.
I can't hold. It's like right here, but the whole talk about this 4 ammo counters thing.
Yeah.
But okay.
Well,
all right. Fine. Here you go. War Machine.
Right.
War Machine. Last one. Oh, the ally. Go ahead.
It's Iron Man.
Oh!
Shocking. So this ally is a 3-cost, 2 thwart, 2 attack Avenger with 3 health. He has a response after Iron Man enters play. Search your deck and discard pile. Your deck and discard pile for a tech upgrade. And add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck.
Really cool, but is what it is.
Hey, tutors are really strong in any card game.
Yep.
And then a tutor that's strapped onto a solid stat, decently costed ally with good health. Just seems excellent.
Yeah.
So, I'm a fan.
Yeah, especially in something that, is going to come packaged, as a leadership build. So,
yeah.
Here's
true,
your ally.
Yeah, it seems great. Like,
yeah.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yes, that's Iron Man. Cool. Shocking. So, yes, let me go through for Jameson loses his tie-in, his piggyback here.
Yeah, was it worth it?
So normally when we would talk about this last card in the kit's previewed, the next thing we would talk about is the obligation. Then we would probably talk about the nemesis. But strangely enough, this article did not show off the obligation nor mention the nemesis, which is, I don't think they usually always have that in an article.
Yeah. So now it's anticlimactic, but I wonder if the nemesis or the obligation has something to do with your ammo counters. So it doesn't clear you out totally with this fully auto, just in case that's on the thing and you have to pay for something like that. And then it does. Marvel Champion seems like the kind of game that it can be difficult based on your board state, but they're not out to punch you in the face, right? Like, it's not it's a game that wants you to. It's a game that wants you to win. You're not playing Arkham Horror, where you basically, the game after the second turn, it just wants you to lose. Like, if Arkham Horror isn't, kicking your butt 80% of the time, which is probably their wheelhouse, it's not Arkham Horror. Marvel, on the other hand, it feels like
it wants you to have that cinematic "I'm a superhero."
Yeah,
right?
They'll do things to set you back or reset you, but they won't send you down hard, right? Like, so I feel like one of those cards is going to be like,
Weapon Jam.
Yeah, right. Or you have to pay an ammo token, or this happens, right? So you can still do this fully auto. If you don't get rid of the claws or something happens, you can pay the one ammo counter still, and you're not still piling on the hate, right? So that's
actually a pretty cool idea. So like, instead of just like your generic like obligation, it's more so you put in like potentially like malfunction type cards or things that could happen.
Especially in the tech stuff, eh?
Yeah, so that's an interesting idea. I mean, who knows, because normally they spoil it. I think I joked before we recorded, when I brought this up to you, that maybe your obligation is another actor comes in and replaces you midway through the game.
Oh,
like everything's cool. And then you get a different ability on your alter ego card. So you just, and everyone acts like you're the same person.
So. That's not Terrence Howard.
Yeah, weird. So strange. But yeah, so I thought that was a little interesting, because like I don't think I remember them ever doing that in an article before. Usually we always get these previewed.
So you know what I thought was a missed opportunity here as well, was to keep something that we've seen previously with the team ups. Like every time you see Iron Man, you see War Machine is there. These two are kind of like that real buddy style thing. So I think maybe it's gonna come, but I think it would have been really cool to have some kind of, like we saw with Ant-Man and Wasp, like we saw with Scarlet Witch and
I know
Quicksilver.
They mentioned that was kind of like a cycle theme, but it wouldn't. Who knows if they, like, as neutrals in the packs, right? They could come up with more of these like partner cards that you could kind of dip into other decks and other builds.
It would have been cool. Like, can you imagine the power of that, of having some all out? Like, if you were Iron Man, I was War Machine, and we just like played this team up card, and it was just like them like back to back or something like that, and like, all their missiles and stuff going, and I feel
you're trying to do like Marvel vs. Capcom combos. Is what we're doing here.
But I feel like also from the perspective of, it wouldn't be so hard, because with those other packs, you had to go out and buy the Ant-Man. You had to go out and buy Wasp. Most of the time, if you're playing this game, you have the core set. Iron Man was the hero in the core set, and now if you're picking up Rhodes, it's like you're partnering. Your team up is with a hero from the core set, so it's not a stretch. I'm not forcing you to get anything else to go spend more.
That's true.
It's just what you already have. So I think.
There's a whole design space to see if they play with it more. Yeah. One thing that is, again, we're not going to dive into the leadership cards that come in this, and I already mentioned that, like, I didn't expect this to be leadership. I don't think anything's wrong with it being leadership. That's cool. Leadership is a really fun aspect to play. If you get a chance to check out the article, which I'm sure those of you watching have, the leadership cards seem really expensive, and then a lot of the cards we previewed seem pretty expensive. It does seem like a really expensive resource cost pre-con, so I'm really intrigued to see other stuff that we get, that get spoiled, that shows how to compensate. That's a little concern I have. But what is interesting is they do show a lot of the other allies, and it's almost like a lot of the people from the core set, because you get an ally card for Iron Man in his kit, then you get Captain Marvel, then you get Black Panther, and it's like, okay, is he just bring everyone from the core set into his pre-con?
Yeah.
We go from there.
Yeah.
So,
we only licensed X amount of characters. And we have to use them as allies.
We have to use them so many times.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess.
And when you when you talk about design space too, I really hope they don't go down that road where we just get a whole pack of random team ups. You know. Oh
yeah, that's true. Here's your team up kit.
Yeah.
But as a whole, he seems interesting. As I said, I feel like his big thing is going to be resource management, like knowing when's the right time to spin counters, being able to play that tempo type play of like spinning them to go all out, knowing you're going to have to flip, reload, and then trying to do the timing to keep that tempo down so that way your team is like ready to step up when you're reloading, and then you're there to support whenever you come in, you know, guns blazing in a sense, to kind of do what's necessary based on what you have built up on your suit. So
now that is our War Machine preview. That's our War Machine talk. I'd like to put a cut here and, you know, and say thank you for watching, because I'd like to talk about something. I'd like to talk about a missed opportunity if we're going back in time here. And this is a tie-in with you know, this is not going to be crazy heavy spoilerish, but I will say that the Kang pack, or you know, it's really cool to go back and play that after Loki. Right, but I'm like, oh, there's so much more that I wanted in that stuff, you know, and I hope there's so much more with like the TVA and all of these other cool things that are now coming in with, you know, with the multiverse, and they were kind of working on it, you know, where they were taking your heroes and shooting it all into you know, different locations and stuff like that at points of time, and you have to fight him at certain things. But I'm like, oh, the stuff they could do now if this game goes into the multiverse.
It's pretty wild. It's cool. That was one of my favorite packs. Like, I love the Kang pack. I think it's a really fun scenario. I actually use that, I think, as a second ever scenario. I taught like 2 new people how to play, and they loved it. They thought it was a lot of fun. Just everyone getting their own kind of unique puzzle to play through together to try to fight your way back. It's just a really fun scenario, and if you have not played it, highly recommended.
Yeah, you know what, and I don't think, I know I said possible spoilers, but I don't think I'm going to say any more than that. I really enjoyed Loki. Good. If you haven't seen it,
yeah, it was great.
I recommend it. It was a really, really entertaining watch. I love what they did with it. You know, and I hope some of those characters that we saw in that show come over here.
Yeah, they can utilize them.
Thank you very much for tuning in. If you still haven't given this video a like, you know, really appreciate if you could do that. It does help us out. It helps us get this, you know, the word out there, helps us get discovered in YouTube's search results and adventures like that. It does. I don't know why, but it does.
Algorithms.
Yeah.
Craziness.
Yeah. Stay tuned. Bad Publicity is back. We got more in the tank. We got more canned up. If you're watching this one, expect another one coming soon. We'll be throwing some content your way. I hope you're all having a great summer, and you know, happy gaming, guys, girls,
everyone,
champions.
There you go. Champions. Yeah, thanks again. Yeah, awesome. Well, until next video.
Yes. Excelsior.
Maybe. No. Just have a good night. Good evening.
See ya.
Later.